Hey guys, we're gonna fish a little stream today. A little bit of dark water, been raining here. We're gonna fish a little woolly burger with a bunch of flash, pink hot spot. It's gonna be the point fly, and on the drop, probably gonna put some kind of silver Waltz worm. So here with this rig, as you see, we're kind of short there from our tag, which this right here is your tag, to your point fly here, due to the small water we're fishing, and it's going to keep those flies in the same water current as much as possible. Let's see here. So we're just going to tie on a little waltzy here, some with a lot of flash, sexy waltz actually. Both of these flies are 3mm beads today. The water's up, but we're going to be fishing a lot of the edges and hopefully be able to get into some really nice wild brown trout. So let's hit the water. Here we go. First cast of the day. Something to make sure is as you're fishing this technique is you're watching that sighter. You want that sighter to be nice and at some level tight, but you don't want to be pulling those flies necessarily. It's called manageable slack right there. You can see there's a slight bow in that sighter. Any jump like that right there could be a fish. That was the bottom. So go get right in there behind that rock right there. There's a little eddy. There he is right there, folks. That's a good fish. We're getting a little side pressure on him. Try to lift him up. That's a pretty nice brown, it looks like. There we go, folks. Just like that. Nice little stock brown. Hit the woolly burger. You make sure you cast upstream a little bit and have that nice bow in that line. We're right there. If you notice, when those flies are coming through, my sighter is going slower than the top current there that you see on the surface, which is what you want, because the slowest current, slowest substrate is going to be on the bottom of that stream. And that's where those fish are going to hang out, right there on the bottom. Here we go. That's a good little drift right on this first seam. Nothing doing there. Let's get it up a little bit. Let it get down in there a little deeper. It's going to come right over a rock there, right there. We're going to let her sink in there. Let's see what happens here. We're watching that sighter. There's a little pause. Let her float on through. Now this time we're going to jig these flies a little bit. We're going to try to get a little closer to this other bank, and we're going to give them a little pop. Just a little pop. Give them a little movement. Let's see if we can entice something there. There he is right in that far seam. There's a fish right there, just like that. Jig action. Fish picked it up. Got him on the reel. Looks like another little old brown. Let's get the net out here. Right there, just like that. Now this is a nice little wild fish. As you notice, he came on the jig. And he hit the Waltz worm on the jig. So don't be afraid to jig nymphs. That naturally happens, you know, as they're being flushed down the current, they're getting jigged up and down. So don't be afraid to do that. It's a quick tip there. And we're going to do one more. We're going to go way downstream here, down and across, not quite where we want it. Right there's where we want it. Now we're going to jig almost like a streamer. popping that thing back just to see if we can get one in that, into that eddy there to come up and hit it. Nothing, so we're gonna move upstream here a little bit and see what else we can find. So as you notice, watch my left hand. This is key. That left hand is always working. There's a good drift right there. And as you guys notice, as I cast, I'm lifting that rod right at the end. And what that's doing is, this is called a tuck cast. It's allowing those flies to get in there nice. Oh, that's a really big fish, folks. Really good fish right here. Yep, I mean, this is a hoss. We got a good one. Right there, right where he was supposed to be. Nice fish. Got to get him side pressure, keep him downstream here. Here we go. Get his head up and boom, whoa! I know why he feels big. Remember that tuck cast. That tuck cast allowed those flies to get down. I still had manageable slack. So when you tuck cast, I'm going to show you here in a minute, a key point. That key point would be, lift your rod toward the flies, which what that does is it allows your flies to sink. So what we're going to do is, as those flies sink, as I point that rod toward the flies, it's going to allow the flies to sink below my rod tip while creating that manageable slack. Let's see what we got here. Let's see, downstream here, we go up, lift that rod up, and now here we are. We're into the drift. Perfect. Now let's see what we can find here. Okay, nothing. Now I'm going to go straight back up with it, and up. And now I'm going to lift that rod right to those flies. Now here's a key. Sometimes you can't see that sighter. Okay? Continue your drift. Maybe tighten up just a little bit so you can feel that take. Any hesitation in that sighter, set the hook. Always set the hook. A big key. One of the best tips I could give you is set the hook. Anytime you see that sighter, jump, move, pause, whatever, set the hook. We're going to try to get over here. There's a real nice seam against these rocks in the sun. We're going to see what we can find. There we go. Real nice fish again. Right there in that seam. Right in between the fast and slow water. Got it down deep. Picked up another nice one. Get the, yep, nice big rainbow. There we go. Nice net job, folks. Look at that. Fly popped out. I'll be able to show you this real pretty rainbow here. Right here. Look at that. Real pretty fish. Let's get him back in the water. There we go. Right here where we're fishing, I'm going to point within my rod. I caught that fish right in this seam right here. Look, it's just rolling water. A lot of people would overlook that, or you're throwing a thingamabobber or an indicator. You're never going to get down right there. You're never going to have contact with your flies. So this technique allows you to get down, allows you to have contact with those flies, and allows you to catch those fish that other people aren't catching. This right here is a highly pressured put and take stream, meaning people fish this with bait. People fish this with spinners. There's really no regulation on it, but we're sitting here with fly rod whacking fish because we're getting down to where they're at. Here we go. Let's do a little jig action right through there. Nice little deep seam. Okay, now we're going to get it all the way across over there on that bank. There we go. Again, I'm going to do a little jig. I can't see my flies. I'm going to do a little jig. That was a big rock. Here we go. Whoa, right there against the bank. Here we go. Let's jig it a little bit. Now there. Let's see if we can get a fish to come out of those rocks and eat this thing. Again, I'm going to let it swing. Right through there. Nope, nothing doing. Nothing doing. Let's get it real close here and see if we can't catch one of this little close seam. Again, that last one, it's hard to see the indicator, but I felt just something a little different, so I set the hook. Let's see these on upstream and see if we can get a big brown. So a common mistake that I see a lot of times from anglers that just kind of picked up this technique is when they cast, they roll their hand just like that. Let me demonstrate for you again. They'll roll their hand just like that. When you do that, then you've got to roll your hand back and lift. One is you're not in direct contact with the nymphs. second thing is you're pulling those nymphs out of the water column you want them in. So always remember, keep your thumb on top of that rod and cast, thumb up, and boom, you're right into the cast. You're ready to rumble. Let me show you the wrong way. Here, there, boom, up. Not gonna catch as many fish, not gonna get the drift you want. Here, boom, boom. So I just was talking to a buddy, and that's what he was doing. He immediately changed, and within 3 casts, he caught a fish. Boom. There's a quick tip for you. Nope. Let's see, he's on. Huh? Not today. Not today. So here's a quick tip for you. As you look out here, you're gonna see a rock in the middle of the river. I'm gonna try to fish this seam. Really fast, really complicated currents. Throw your flies there. You may not get a great drift, try it out. Trout live in small places. Don't be afraid to cast there. Make 1 or 2 casts, move on. Don't spend all day there, but make 1 or 2 casts. That's a key point. Keep moving. There it is, right there on cue. Baby, come on! That's what I needed. Woo! Another nice little brown. Boom, shakalaka. Another wild brown, folks, right there. Wild brown trout. Yes, sir! Woo. There's what we came to eat today. Big brown soup. It's like 15. Maybe it's not the same. Oh, missed him. Oh my gosh. Oh yes! Woo. That's what we came for. Look how fat this thing is. Oh my gosh. Look at the girth.